Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6, Northern Indiana. And we did away with the dual screen thing this time because it just split up the views and it split up the chat, and it was all just really weird. So I didn't really understand the purpose of it. It just fractured everything. So now instead, we're all just going to be here, okay? So guys, let us know where you're at. I'm going to say what you got growing, but most of you are not going to have anything growing. So here in northern Indiana, we're not growing anything over the winter. You know, you hear in a lot of places, or you read online and stuff, and you'll hear from a lot of YouTubers and stuff what they're growing over the winter. Oh, you can just overwinter those. Grow them over. They grow great over the winter. And I'm thinking, in what you know where are you? And every time you look, they're like in San Diego, or they're somewhere, even they're on one of the coasts, somewhere where it's mild, somewhere where, but there's nothing. In northern Indiana, you're not growing anything over the winter. Green onions will survive. Yes, they will survive. Uh, and they will just freeze solid. And then you can go out there and harvest them and bring them inside and thaw them and then chop them up, and they don't lose their structure. They don't turn to mush. So, but they don't grow over the winter. And that's about the hardiest thing that there is. Collard greens, cabbages, all that stuff, you can make it survive over the winter so that it will produce seed next season by covering it with 2 feet of straw or keeping it in an enclosed, you can make it happen, but you're not like growing anything, going out there and harvesting a bunch of fresh veg and stuff. I see people, yeah, it's just not happening here. So don't even bother trying. The way to do it instead is to grow the maximum amount of nutrient dense produce while the season is good. And then you want to store it over the wintertime. You want to ferment it. Yes, this is what we want to do. Ferment lots of veg. And so that we're eating that live probiotic cultures, and all the good nutrients, fresh vitamin C, all kinds of good stuff are in the fermented cultures. And we can do so many ferments, guys. This turned out to be one of my favorite. This is congee. This is a carrot. Well, we'll get into it later. Just remind me to get into it, okay? So, yeah, and a lot of people in northern Indiana, they're like, "Oh, I'm got a greenhouse now," and they get like those little $200 greenhouses, and they think that now all of a sudden they've got an extra growing season, and they don't. Unless you are heating the greenhouse, which takes serious energy resources, then the greenhouse will become ambient temperature in the middle of the night. Remember that. The greenhouse is ambient temperature when there's no sun. Yeah, you can produce little heat banks and stuff like that, but why? Why, when you can already have your potatoes in the basement, your onions, your squash, all that stuff, sweet potatoes, it's all stored down there. You got a bunch of, dozens of quarts of tomato sauce canned, and you've got all the fresh veg fermented and stuff. So you don't need to like try and grow stuff over the winter. I know it's kind of a dream of a lot of people, but just spare yourself the hassle is what, now extending, look to nature. Yes, extending the season is definitely possible with a hoop house. Yes, but even then, if those ambient night times are in the 20s and stuff, then it's not going to do much except skyrocket the temperature to 120 in the daytime, unless you vent it, So there you are, going out there every day, venting it, opening it up in the daytime. Because even in the middle of winter, guys, if that greenhouse is sealed up tight, or relatively tight, and it gets direct sun, it's going to skyrocket past 100, no doubt. I mean, those high tunnels, like those ones you saw me make this year, even if it's 28 degrees out and they're sealed up with plastic, and it's got boards around it, when that sun hits it, it doesn't take long. It will be over 100 degrees. It will roast the plants. So most plants just don't like to go to 28 degrees at night and then 110 during the day. That's pretty wild. So let's see here. Mom Computer, good to see you, says Nate does not get the proper credit. I've seen it on other channels too. Ooh, credit for what? Credit for what? Let's see here. Yes, Teets, good morning. Good to see you. Bushcraft Baron, good to see you. Yes, Millhouse, good to see you guys. And let us see here. Let's see. Millhouse says, otherwise, I certainly would. Looking into high tunnels, maybe purchasing as soon as the ground thaws. High tunnels can be very good, guys. We like some high tunnels, definitely. For starting things, definitely for warming the soil in the springtime. Yeah, warming the soil in the springtime. So if you guys want, I mean, especially after last year's fiasco, you know, if you were here last year, then you understand what I'm talking about with the timing. Went against my own advice that I've been saying for years now, and started earlier than I should have, much earlier, because I thought that based upon the past 3 or 4 years that our springs were changing. That it was just like super warm right away, come March, you know, and April. But last year it was not the case. It was still, you know, in the low 40s, high 30s. Wasn't frosting, but all the way up to like June. It was in the, you know, nights were in the 41 degrees and stuff, and plants just do not like that. It took so long for the soil to warm. So if you guys want to know my final settled upon seed starting dates, I have made a free PDF calendar that you can download if you like. At the moment, it's only, this is the only way to get it. Listen, you have to go to the link in the description, vikinggrowingsystem.com, and there is the website for the course. And then once you go to leave the page, meaning you take the cursor or whatever and you go to leave, a pop-up will come up. And that's where you can get the free PDF, okay? That's the only place it's at right now until I can build out the proper place. But anyways, if you guys want that, and let me know what you think. If you guys get that, let me know what you think about the PDF design and is it easy to follow. I tried to distill it to all that you need to know. So it doesn't matter what zone you're in. This calendar shows you exactly how to determine when to start what, including ginger, sweet potatoes, all the good stuff, and when to plant it out, and when to start and plant out your fall crops. So if you guys want that, link is in the description, but remember, you got to do that little dance in order to get it for now. But anyways, that being said, the Viking Growing System website is online, functional. Yeah. So everything is set up, all the email automations, everything is all set up. Now it's just me building out the actual course content and placing them into the placeholders. So just this morning, I made a welcome video. So when you sign up for the course, you get a welcome video where you go into the community portal. And this is the Viking Tribe. And so that is where we're going to start posting things. And I posted a video, short 2-minute video, right to the point, showing you guys how to utilize the community and the platform. Okay. So it should be super simple, very useful. The community is going to become a catalog of knowledge. So it's you guys' firsthand experience, my input and firsthand experience, because I'm kind of wore out on all of answering the same exact YouTube question 57 times and then the answer just being lost and just nobody ever sees it again. It's like, okay, so we're developing this platform now, this community where we can search. I've got it organized in such a way where we're going to be able to search, keyword search for the knowledge that we want. So we're getting it all situated. It's going to be ideal. Okay. So because when I give an answer and stuff, or when someone gives a real helpful thing, it needs to be seen again. It doesn't just get lost into oblivion. Okay, now you got to give the same answer 56 more times. You know, and that's not going to work. Okay. Thank you, Don. Says sound is loud and clear. Yes. Captain Jerry says, hey, Nate, it's Captain Jerry. Just want to wish you a safe and wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year. Yes, thank you. Same to you, my friend. Definitely. We had some good snow this year, so it actually felt like the Christmas season. Although I can't remember when we had a white Christmas. I mean, it's been years now. But maybe we'll do it this year, except all the snow is pretty much melting now. And next week, it's going to be 50 degrees. So it's all going to melt. But hey, Still feels like, still feels like Christmas season. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Dusty Flat says, we are just trying to survive this early cold blast. Yes, that reminds me of what we talked about a couple weeks ago, how the weather people, they just can't say the weather anymore. They can't say, okay, guys, so it's going to be cold next week. You better bundle up. Okay, that's how they used to say it in the 90s and stuff. That's what I remember the news being like. Oh, it's going to be cold. Okay. But now everything's sensationalized. They got to do it like this. The guy's standing outside. He goes, okay, we are receiving reports that the polar vortex is inbound and is expected to touch land come early morning. So brace for impact of the polar vortex. And so now, oh, the polar vortex, guys, brace for impact. It's going to touch land. You got to be all worried about it, sensationalize, when really it just ends up being cold, So guys, just prepare for cold, but that's just how everything has to be now. So sensationalized. Polar vortex inbound. Or instead of saying, guys, it's going to rain a lot next week, you got to say, we are bracing for the aftermath of the atmospheric river that is inbound. Atmospheric river. Okay. And then they say, everything's getting so much more extreme. The weather events are so much more extreme. Well, maybe, but maybe it's also just the way you're framing them that seems so much more extreme. Yes, Ryan Hall, y'all. Definitely like that guy. That's a YouTube channel. Really good weather. Like far superior to our local weather people somehow. I mean, the YouTuber is way better. Our local people basically just take a coin. Bing, heads, it's going to rain. Tails, ding, nope, it's not going to rain. It's 50-50 chance. I don't know. It's going to or it's not, Yes, mom computer. Look, says Nate, don't forget to label everything. Yes, kraut. And this is kraut. And purple kraut. I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, some things I just remember. We'll just remember. And then never once can you remember, because there's 27 other things that you're just going to remember. The mind is not. I mean, it doesn't like that. No, Shawnee, it's negative 18 Fahrenheit where you're at right now. Where are you? On the planet Hoth? Is that what Hoth? Is that the ice planet in Star Wars? Yeah, look to nature. I mean, unless it's heated, getting an extra month or two isn't really. It's kind of. It just doesn't really work. I mean, I've tried several times now. In California, we used greenhouses, but we were pumping resources into that. Resources for sure. 1,000 gallons a week of diesel for our generator every week, delivered way back into the mountains. I mean, crazy amounts of resources. So yeah, I mean, if you're just going to dump a bunch of resources into it, but if it's for your lettuce and your leafy greens and stuff, then it doesn't really justify the overwhelming cost. So now the way to do it is to have one attached to the house in some way on the south side of the house. That's the way to do it. Definitely. Ecology Today, that's a strange statement. It says, shoveled snow for 5 hours on public paths while dressed as a seagull. Okay. Take pictures. Yeah, so Dusty Flash says, then we'll have a giant warm-up midweek. Too much temperature change. So that leads me into a lot of you guys were asking about what I did to prepare the never mind, to prepare the strawberries in the towers. You said, what are you doing to prepare the strawberries in the towers for the winter? Now, strawberries will survive outside in northern Indiana, but what they are not going to like is the constant. So the in the tower, so in the ground, they will survive because they have the ground to moderate and to sort of smooth everything out as far as the temperature goes. Uh, but even if they freeze solid, that's fine. But what's the problem is that the towers are so much more, the vertical towers are so much more exposed. They don't have that insulation and that warmth from the earth. So they will be whatever ambient is. So in northern Indiana, when we've got a 50-degree day and then a 5-degree night, and then way back up to something else, they're constantly thawing and expanding. And that's really what's going to hurt them. So it's not the cold by itself. It's the constant fluctuation of the tower. So what we did to mitigate that is because we didn't have the room to put them in the basement. We're not putting them in the basement. So what we did, we just took the sections of the tower apart and put it up against the north side of the house, and then stacked them just too high, and then put some old, junk blankets on them so that they're insulated and they're tucked in. So based upon my experience, they should be fine. Now, that being said, I've never grown strawberries in towers before, but based upon my knowledge and things, my experience, I think that will work. So we'll see. We'll see. Ha! Teach says, last night we hit a fall low of 43 degrees. I used a little buddy heater and had 61 in my greenhouse, but yeah, it never freezes here. Yeah, so mild in San Francisco. Gosh. Oh, Tegan's in the house. Hello, my friend. Tegan, 2 limes. She's staying with my mom right now. Making cinnamon rolls because we don't eat stuff like that. So when she goes to mom's house, she makes them, kind of loses her mind a little bit, And so, let's see. We just received a email. Oh, I didn't know that it was Jay. See, why is the names so different all the time? But, ooh, hope you don't mind. I'm going to show everybody. Okay, so it literally meant, dressed as a seagull. So now I get it. Very good. Nice. Yes. Let's see. Melvina says, Nate, can you make short videos on all your top seeds and plants for all newcomers? I will be doing stuff like that, definitely. That's going to be another free, probably free PDF. I like the PDF platform. It's so much. It's just so much better. The course and PDF platform is so much better for education because like all the videos that I've made in the past about stuff, where are they now? You can't reference them well, and the titles have to be like catchy and they can't just be like business, reference titles. They have to be like, engaging titles and stuff like that. So I'm tired of like making stuff and just having it all go to the wind, like in YouTube. So now we're going to have a course structure, permanent there, laid out, and then PDF documents attached to the course that you can then download. And now if you want, you could print it out, okay? And then you can have a hard copy of it. Or you can just organize it and it will always be there, so long as our civilization stays as it is. So that is what we will be doing. Yes. Yes, definitely. Keyword search. Silver Sage says, I find the sun warms the soil very well. We made a solar reflective wall a few years ago with recycled sheet metal. That was a fun garden experiment. Oh, yeah, there are definitely ways to mitigate this stuff, definitely. But still, it will still depend on what you're growing, though. Even because what if you have a cloudy day? Like here in the wintertime, that's another thing. A lot of people want to talk about jalapenos and stuff. A lot of people want to talk about jalapenos, and okay, so you've taken care remotely, taken care of the insulation temperature factor. All right, so it wouldn't necessarily freeze; it would stay relatively warm there. But now comes the thing where the sun. I mean, here in India, the sun is out like once every 5 days. It's pretty much just overcast all the time. I mean, in the wintertime, in the wintertime. So let's say, for example, if we look at, so here's our 10-day forecast. You know, there's there's our 10-day forecast. A little bit of snow today, and then just clouds every single day. Maybe it peaks through next Sunday, but other than that, so it doesn't matter if you got a jalapeno or whatever you got, this is not growing stuff. Not only is it super overcast, but the timing, it's dark by 5 o'clock, 5:30. I mean, it's pitch black by 5:30 now. So there's not even close to 12 hours of sunlight. Um, and not only that, but if you have your device, you will understand how much weaker the sun is at this time. So, I'm all for growing. I mean, you know that. But I'm trying to give you my experience, the lessons I've learned from trying to do it so many times and just being dismal results, especially for the work input. So, growing over the winter in this kind of zone is just a total waste of energy. But what is not a waste of energy is setting up your nice little grow tent inside with efficient lighting in such a way where you can grow tray after tray of sunflower microgreens, pea shoot microgreens, broccoli, red cabbage microgreens, beet microgreens, wheatgrass, several trays of wheatgrass, and then sprouts. So you've got all this stuff for the winter time, which are very nice and delicious and flavorful and easy to grow and full of good nutrients. So we're actually going to be filming the indoor microgreens and sprouting course, which will be a much shorter course, but available probably next year. But it's not going to be like all the other microgreens courses and stuff are about commercial growing, which is totally different actually. So if you're looking at videos about commercially growing microgreens, because there was a big craze during COVID and stuff, or after COVID, where everybody wanted to make $10,000 a week selling microgreens out of my basement. You see all those videos. I make $290,000 a day selling microgreens out of my basement. Yeah, what? Just crazy prices. Not 290 a day, but really ridiculous sounding prices. Okay. Oh, so everybody wanted to get on the train. I'm just going to grow microgreens and sell them to the restaurants. Well, good luck with that. Okay. Unless you've got a booming restaurant, industry in your massive city, then, it can be done. But even here, like in Fort Wayne, there's a couple people selling them, and you see them and they got a lockdown on it. So, you're not going to tap into that. They're already doing it. And there's no more people that need it. Besides that, and the people in Fort Wayne, the Beth does grow wonderful microgreens. Yes, I get them from the co-op sometimes. And we did a tour of her place, which we'll probably be making a video about this year. I still got all the footage and stuff. But anyways, commercially growing microgreens is very different than growing them for yourself, actually. So in the commercial field, you want to be able to pack them in as many as you can. And you want to use so you want the minimum amount of space in between the tray and the light, okay? And therefore, you want it to be nice and cool because you've got 10 trays deep per rack, and you got 10 racks. So you want the lights to be virtually, emit very, very little heat, consume very little energy, and be just enough to be able to grow the microgreens, okay? But because you don't want the heat buildup, you don't want to have the lights, 2 feet away from the tray and stuff. But when you're doing it on the home scale, then you can do it differently. You can use much more intense light, which will produce more vitamins and minerals using intense light. Yes, it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different animal. Yeah, because in the microgreen phase, it's all about light intensity and airflow and water. They pretty much have most of the vitamins, meaning nutrients, that they need within the seed already. So the whole setup is different. Yep. And then all you got to do is just switch to seed starting from there and crank the lights up more. That's about it. Mm-hmm. Yes. Taylor Rindle, member for 14 months. We've been doing that already for 14 months. Gosh, guys, I appreciate all the membership. Now, remember, when I set that up, it was because YouTube was pushing me to do it, constantly pushing me to do it. So I just made it like $2 or $3 a month, the minimum you could do. And then, so there isn't like anything, that you're getting extra, but I just, other than saying thank you. So I appreciate that. So I'm saying thank you back. Hopefully you find value here. You will definitely find a lot more value this upcoming year because we're going to hit it hard again. January, February, March, April, May, probably June and July as well, and then taper off for the season. So we also want to get our thing started, our list for guests. We want to get some more guests on the show next year, don't we? Or this upcoming season. So we got to put the bug out into the ear. We'll probably have all the people that we had last year, maybe. And then we'll probably have David the Good as well. Hopefully we can make that happen this year. And then a few others, definitely. Bushcraft Baron says, Nate, do you have an idea how long the pre-sale price will be on the Viking Growing System? That will be until the course is complete. So pretty much, well, by February 16th. But it will be complete before that. But February 16th is the deadline when the price jumps up. So if you guys want this price right now, it's that, because the modules are not actually made yet. I've got them all filmed. It's all, in its section. All in its folders, and I'm editing and shooting them all now up in the studio. So totally different experience than YouTube videos. So if you guys want to get a glimpse of that, you can go to the vikinggrowingsystem.com, link in the description, and look at the first video that is right there. And that is shot in my studio. So let me know what you think about the lighting, all that kind of stuff, guys. I didn't know anything about, but lighting, sound, and manipulating the sound and the lighting and the color correcting and all that kind of stuff it's a massive amount of things you have to learn beyond just whatever the content is that you're making. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Oh man, big time. Queen RB says it would be helpful for gardeners to understand the difference between soil temperatures and air temperatures and the effect on plants. That is a really good statement, and it makes me want to make a video specifically about that. So let me take just a moment and write that down, because I want to make a video. I could make a video specifically about that. Soil versus air temp. Soil versus air temp. Yes, okay, very good. Guys, let me know any other good videos that we can make, because we're going to pump them out this upcoming year. We're going to do at least one long form video a week and probably 2 shorts a week. So we'll see. Maybe even 2. Yeah, Big West says he spent some dough on weather monitoring. He must. Yeah, it's probably talking about Ryan Hall or one of the other guys. Yeah, I mean, you get that by having massive funds or resources in order to have access to the latest, computer modeling and all that. Whoo, AK Froggy says, it has been hovering around 0 Fahrenheit here for a couple of weeks. Is that during the day as well? But the Froggy North, nice reference to the Viking North, but the Froggy North plot has been getting down to negative 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Actual temperature or wind chill? So where you live, the daytime temperatures are 0, and the lows are negative 55 degrees. Man, I'm not sure. Well, I mean, once you get to a certain point, it doesn't really matter, actually. It doesn't matter as much. I mean, because once you're prepared, you're prepared. So, like, the difference, well, I can't say, I've never experienced negative 55 Fahrenheit actual temperature. Negative 20, yes, experienced several times actual temperature. Super ridiculously cold, painful. Go outside and any exposed skin starts burning. I mean, crazy. Although I was not cold training at that time. Now it might be slightly different, but there comes a point where it doesn't matter how much you cold train. It's just straight up dangerous. Serena says, question, tonight's low temperature is supposed to be 20 degrees. Should I cover my green stalk, which has rosemary, sage, and thyme growing in it? If they're currently 20 degrees, no. Well, I mean, rosemary will be fine. Sage will be, no, those will all pretty much be fine. They're really cold hardy. Those are the most cold hardy of the crops, pretty much. So again, the problem with the vertical towers is the non-insulation of them. So the fact that they will just thaw and then freeze solid and thaw and freeze solid, that's what we're trying to mitigate. But 20 degrees, I mean, go ahead if you're still trying to harvest stuff from it and it's going to warm back up. But the thing is, if it's going to be that low from now on, I mean, we're just entering winter. So, I mean, officially it's not even winter yet. So if we are going to experience a lot more of that, then it's not really going to make sense, but sure. But those plants, rosemary will be fine till about 10. After 10 degrees, it's done. Ooh, nice. Okay, Argyle says, at my workplace, there is a heated greenhouse. I have negotiated a single shelf space. Light is still a problem, so Shijimisa and Yodfa getting started. Northern Michigan. Like the UP of Michigan, or the regular northern, like Traverse City? Because, man, I think I've told you guys, but I look at land all the time, and so a lot of the Upper Peninsula land comes up on my feed, and man, you can get just some breathtaking land for $1,000 an acre. I mean, 300 acres, $298,000 with a quarter mile of riverfront, Michigan River. I mean, just gorgeous, wild places. But as I talked about previously, having had that experience for all those years in Northern California, I don't romanticize about that. I know the realities of that. So many people are like, man, we should just move there. I would just move there and leave it all behind. Yeah, well, that's a nice thought, but there's trade-offs to all of that. You move out there and you're way, way, way out in the middle of nowhere, hours from anything really. And you're hours from anything. I mean, just to go to the store is like an all-day event. And if you forget something, like when we used to go back to the mountains, you forget something, that's it. You're not gonna, oh man, I forgot it. Okay, well, you're not turning around. You're not going back for like a month because it's like a full day journey and stuff. So, and then out there, even, I'm sure that there is lots of wolves, probably, lots of predators, which is not necessarily a problem for us, but I bet that there's not a lot of, because I was seeing people, because I've not spent time, I've been there, to the Upper Peninsula several times, but I've not lived there. But several of the people, obviously, that lived around there were like, yeah, now tell the people buying it that there's so many wolves, there's virtually no deer at all. So you would run into things like that. You think, oh, I'll go up there and live off the land and stuff. And it's got this tiny little cabin on it that's just super secluded. I don't romanticize about that anymore. If you brought your whole family and with you, it would be pretty awesome. But otherwise, you're just really excluding yourself. Sorry, guys. Mm-hmm. Serena Norell, what happened to the herb that was convicted? It had to do time. Teats, $5. Thank you, my friend. Says, is the Viking Grow System available for purchase? But if sounds like no videos yet and will come later, or what's the deal? I'm old and confused. Yes, you should never admit that, my friend, even if it is true. But yes, so go to so it's all up. So if you were just going to purchase it and you want the system, you want to the education platform, go to the link in the description, vikinggrowing.system.com, and then click the yes, I want it, and then it will take you to a checkout page. You have to enter your details. I don't know how old and confused you are exactly, but I've set it up so you can have PayPal or any of the major methods we accept. So I always use PayPal for everything because it's just another layer of protection. I can't stand entering all my credit card details on stuff. Even though we use Stripe, which is the most secure of them all, So, but still, I just use PayPal when I can. But yes, and so you'll see the structure of the course is all there. Everything is there. The community is there. You can ask questions. I will answer. If you guys have questions about your setup, right now the community has virtually no one in it. And so you can join the community and post your questions. If you've got a question about something, grow tent or seed starter or whatever it is, a question about a space, post a picture and ask a question. And I'm in there every day. And so I will be answering the questions in there. Okay. And then, yes, I will be doing the videos one by one over the next month. And then they will all be there. Look to Nature says, Tegan, next year have Nate show you the art of seed selection, and you can start up your very own seed company, Teagues and Seeds. Teagan Seeds. Teagan Seeds. I already have a few requests of seeds you need to hunt for. What would those be? What would that request be? Yes, Mom Computer, I understand. Exactly. Jalapenos use geothermal heat, definitely, but they still have to rely on ambient light. So Teets talks about the light app. It has a light meter and about 8 identifiers. So there is the light app, Photon or whatever it is. I mean, I didn't really like it because you have to put a piece of paper over it and stuff. I don't know. I just like this thing. So guys, remember what this is, okay? This is the PAR meter, photosynthetically active radiation, which shows you the amount of plant available photosynthetically active light. So this is how you tell. This is really the only way to tell for sure. All right. So it's this is like $30 and I use it all the time, or used to. I mean, to dial in your system. So I showed you last year in the videos, although I'm going to show them again in the videos this year, how to utilize these. So that is why you use this. So this is how you can understand that lumens don't necessarily, well, they don't translate to plant available anything. Generally, the brighter the light is, lumens are about how bright the light is perceived by the human eye in a way. But it doesn't say anything about how much PAR, the PAR value, how much plant available light there is. This meter will show you that though. And it will also show you that based upon the height of your light, it dramatically decreases or increases the amount of photosynthetically active radiation, plant available light. Okay, this is the only light spectrum that the plants are using. And so you could have some really bright shop lights and take this thing out there and see, oh wait, there's actually not much plant available light. Or you could go outside and you can see in the middle of summer, wow, and that thing cranks up to 1800, 2000, 2200, about the max. But then once the cloud goes over the sun, bam, wipes it out to like 150, 200 max, 10 times just down like that. And that's one reason why, with our grow lights, I mean, we could go so deep into it, you know what I mean? It's a literal science. So, but with our grow lights, everyone's like, yeah, but 600 ppfd is not, I mean, nothing compared to 2000 outside. But the difference is I forget the exact term for it, but it's the light interval. Okay, so how much total light are they exposed to in a given interval of time? And so outside they experience fluctuations, lots of fluctuations, cloudy days and cloud cover, and then sometimes the sun's intense or it goes behind a tree and stuff. In your grow tent, they're just blasted with the lights, nonstop. And so it's a different kind of light. But you can see here, like, okay, so what are we at here? 2.6, okay? Not much, right? Not much light is happening right now. So let's see what it is right up against the window, okay? Right up against the window, we put it and we hold, okay? 18.9, so 19. All right, that's not much to do anything. I mean, that's enough for these kind of plants to survive, but that's not much, okay? As opposed to our grow lights, which can be adjustable from 150 to, well, we got the Mars Hydro 3000s. So those can be like 1800, no problem. But we never crank them up that high anymore because we don't grow plants that need that. So yeah, just getting you familiar with this thing. It's an awesome piece of equipment and we'll be using it a lot when it comes to seed starting. Yeah. Yes, Pam says, Nate, millennial gardener fills barrels with water. The sun heats up the water. At night, they keep the fruit trees from freezing, covered with frost covers, and also uses Christmas lights. Yes, he is also in a totally different area, zone, for sure. What is he in, zone 8? Something like that. It still is, there's no amount. I mean, those kind of things, heat sinks, those kind of things can help, definitely, mildly, if you're on the border and stuff. But no amount of black barrels that you fill up and that are warmed by 8 hours of overcast, cloudy weather are going to hold enough heat to combat 5-degree nights, Fahrenheit. I mean, just nothing. You're going to have serious heat pumping into there. You're going to have either like the radiant heaters, or you're going to have propane heaters just firing nonstop, burning through the stuff. So it just, yeah, in certain areas, if you're right on the border and stuff, okay, that can work. Taylor Reindl, definitely. Do you got good salad dressing recipes for the microgreens? Um, yes, several of them actually. But I would have to be in front of the ingredients to remember, and because I always just throw stuff together. But one of our favorite was ended up being with we used kefir, um, or you can use raw yogurt and stuff like that as well. But usually, just keep it simple. We like to have a vinegar of type, and then olive oil, and that's really about it. And so we found that malt vinegar is really tasty in it. Malt vinegar is good. Then we'll switch out with balsamic vinegar sometimes, or sometimes we'll do lemon juice, and we'll do olive oil, lemon juice, a little bit of salt, and then really lightly shave some Parmesan over it. Very good. Yeah. But yeah, next year with the Sprouts and Microgreens mini course, we will definitely have all the recipes laid out. Dr. Loomis, so your carrots and parsnips are frozen into the grow bags. Will they be okay until spring, or are they shot? They're shot. Yes, they're shot. If they freeze completely solid, especially with the grow bags, so this isn't going to be the last time that they will do that. They will freeze and thaw, and they will be mush. They'll be complete mush by spring. Now, if they were in the ground and you took the tops off and covered them with 2 feet of straw, they'd be perfectly fine. Depends on what zone you're in. Depends how cold it is. But they would stand a far better chance. John Schulke, $20. Thank you, my friend. I don't think I have recognized that name. Or is it another name-changing thing that YouTube seems to be doing with you guys' names? Thank you very much for the contribution. It says, a great video concept might be discussing various water collection and storage concepts for the outdoor garden. Yes, water collection and storage. Now, that is a in-depth topic with me, and I'm different than a lot of people because you're either, because I've lived both ways. In Northern California, the only way during the summertime that you get water is if you store it, because it doesn't rain one time. Like when the rain stops in the spring, it does not rain one drop until the rains come back and stay for 6 months in the fall time. And so if you don't store that water, if you don't have your water collection system, then that's it. You're not growing anything. Nothing. Everything dies without water. So the whole art of it was coming up with the ways to develop. There's lots of little springs there. There's lots of little springs because the elevation change and the rocky nature of it and the underground aquifers and stuff. Artesian springs, come from deep in the ground, nice and cold and just delicious, fresh, clean water. Come from really deep in the ground. And but it's just like a trickle. In the wintertime, it's a gushing, like a little babbling brook. But in the summertime, it's just like the faintest little trickle you could imagine. It doesn't seem like much, but if you develop it right and have it go to a series of holding tanks over time, it will be plenty of water, especially if you have another spring, but man, we ran miles of 3/4 inch poly line, miles of it, crisscross in different elevations, and then had to have these storage tanks, 1,500 gallon, 3,000 gallon, 6,000 gallon storage tanks, and had to have them in a series, so that one could fill up another one and then could move it over here. It was a whole, system. But then you had to have fail safes, because if someone left it open, and you could drain the entire system, and then you're really screwed. So that gets complex, when you have to store so many tens of thousands of gallons of water, and then you have to have miles of lines, and then you have to have elevation change in order to, because you don't have pumps. You could, but that's not the way to do it. So we use the elevation change because that's what we had. And so just all that kind of stuff, I kind of miss that. It was the little engineering feat, of, okay, here's the problem. We got to fix it. How are we going to do it? So what do we have on hand? Because we can't just run to the store. That's a full day, So we have to just go to the little scrapyard that we have and see what we got and then make it work. So yeah, but then there's other ways of doing it. Like, so let's take that not so extreme. Let's go to the home gardener. Okay. Now for the home gardener, I actually am not a huge advocate of rain barrels. For survival water, like if it went down and you couldn't get water, then I have rain barrels, yes. So that if I need to capture water to drink, to purify and drink, I can do that. But for watering the plants, forget about it. Just basically, because if you've got a substantial garden of any size, it will blow your mind how much water you actually consume. Most people think that they'll see on Pinterest one little 55-gallon drum. Oh, I've got a rain barrel. I'm going to water my garden with the rain barrel. No, you're not. You're going to water like your couple little flower pots, and that'll be it. Okay. Your garden. So unless people have lived by the water system and quantified the amounts, they don't understand that it would be, I can put 600 gallons a day on this garden, no problem. I mean, every other day, through drip lines, you can put 400, 500, 600 gallons on this garden every other day in the middle of summer, no problem. And they're just burning through it. So you mean you're going to have 12 rain barrels, set up, and then you got to fill them with rain. So, and if it's raining, you don't got to water. So if it's just constantly raining, then you don't really have to, it kind of defeats the purpose, There's a mild use for them though, if you've got plants under cover. Okay, so even if it is raining, they're not getting any water, like in a greenhouse. Okay, then we can set up a capture system so that you can then water the plants in the greenhouse. Definitely makes sense. But other than that, I really, it's really, it just depends on many factors. I could go deep and we could do a whole huge seminar on watering systems. So thank you for that, that prompt. And for the home gardener, most of my advice is, do it if it makes you feel better to have rain barrels. But if you're in an urban or suburban area and you don't have like a spring or a pond or something like that, then you need the water, or a well, and if you got well, then okay, you better have solar power backup. Or generator battery backup of some kind, but eventually the gas will run out. And but the sun will always be there. Yeah, definitely. Joe Slack says, well, I freeze carrots all the time, so maybe be good for soups and roasting, but not for fresh eating. Yeah, if you don't mind them going soft. What was that? If you don't mind them going soft, then that's not a problem. I gotta see, is someone out front honking their horn? Uh, but if you want them to be crisp, like you're gonna eat them fresh or something, then forget about it. Oh, there's like a brand new little vehicle out there. Huh, it's snowing as we're speaking, so that's pretty good. Let me show you guys a little bit of the garden real quick, huh? Check it out. See if you guys can see anything here. So it is, I don't know if you can really see. You see we've got here the sauna tent. It's amazing, wood-fired sauna tent. Garden is pretty much asleep for the year, but everything's covered, and the sauna tent is so amazing. And you can see the ice bath out there. So, yep, snowing again. Shut this. Yes, Serena, I know AK Froggy is in Alaska, but I wondered where exactly. Because not all places in Alaska get that cold, huh? Oh, okay. Froggy North is in Tok, Alaska. That is the actual temperature. I'm currently in Houston, Alaska, where the temps are around -10 at night and 0 to -10 by day. Wow, that's just amazing. Amazing. Yes, Look to Nature says, I'm thinking about unearthing my rosemary before we hit 10. If I had it to do over, and I don't know why I forgot about this, it's because we didn't have a grow tent set up. But what I did last year and the year before, which was amazing, was just take cuttings, the growing tip from the rosemary in the fall time, and they will root pretty easily, and they can grow without. They're one of the plants that don't need to be like blasted with light. So they can, especially if it's kind of cold, cooler in the house, then they will just be there rooting and growing a little bit over the winter. And so you can plant them in the very early spring. And that is a really good way to do it. Just take cuttings from it. Sam Potzik says, I'm thinking I'm going to give the Viking Growing System a go too. Really impressed by how the videos are set up. Well, thank you. Yes, when you guys see it, it's it's going to be different. No amount of me being able to sit here and talk to you about stuff, it can do the same as being taken and shown. Okay, here's the system. Yes, if you guys are having problems, if you want to have the best year of your gardening career, then check out the course. Oh man, Argos. Sleeping Bear Dunes is where I'm at. Yes, we go there for backpacking sometimes. Awesome place. I bet you get wonderful amounts of snow there. Yes, Lorene Collier says, I've seen remote Northern California hill and mountain land up near Redding and Shasta that is super cheap for hundreds of acres. Yeah, especially now that I look at some of the prices, especially now that the industry sort of collapsed up there in Humboldt. Um, the price has plummeted on the land. I mean, because you used to get like 40 acres. 40 acres is like the minimum you could get up there. You used to get 40 acres and it'd be like $900,000, because there was a spring on there and there was, south facing slopes and there was a couple of springs and stuff. And so now that same 40 acres, if people aren't the industry is not going on up there like it was. And so the the land now is just plummeted. They're giving that same 40 acres away, 290,000 now, which is still a boatload of money for 40 acres. But what is there to do up there? I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do for work up there? Where's the money? So yeah, what was its greatest blessing? The redwood curtain, being so far out that nobody was going to go out there and mess with you, is now its curse. It's like, okay, well, unless you've got some kind of, unless you're like a construction person for local people and stuff, but even that, if people don't have the money to spend and they don't need you to level out their greenhouses, space for their greenhouse, and they don't need greenhouses anymore, and they don't got boatloads of cash anymore, then what's the point? Where's you're going to get your income, even if you're one of the auxiliary people? So it's a complex thing, but yeah, the prices have plummeted on those land up there. No, Vina, you might want to restart. Is my voice not going with the okay, ready? I'm going to stop talking. How about now? Yeah, Don Hughes says Michigan, the Upper Peninsula is a great place to visit, but to live in winter, no thanks. Yeah, yeah. I like a nice snowy. It'd be cool if we could count on December, January, February, and even most of March being snow, constant snow. I would like that. I mean, but we can't. Here, it's just like muck. Must be the polar vortex. Yes. Oh, that is a great idea, colorblind gardener. Is there a way in the new system to show where we are from? State, zone, yeah. So we all have an idea of where each other are growing. That is a good idea. And you have to create a little profile, so I'm sure you could put it, I should say that. I should say in your profile, put what zone you're in or where about you're growing from. That would be very helpful because people's advice, like we always say, you know, you watch Epic Gardening channel, for example, and people are, oh, great. Okay, I saw this on Epic Gardening. Yeah, well, he's in San Diego, which is like a different planet than Northern California in relation to the tactics and procedures of growing. Fundamentals are always the same. So it doesn't matter what zone you're in. The fundamentals of growing are all the same. But the techniques and the methodology and the procedures vary dramatically from San Diego to northern Indiana or anywhere further north, especially. Yes, no way says, I think you should remake a video on the 5 things plants need to grow well. That is in the course. I do a deep dive. That is one of the first things that I show to the people because it's the compass by which the rest of your journey is guided. So the 5 things plants need: light, water, air, nutrients, and it all has to happen at the right temperature. So once you understand those 5 things, then you can apply them to your system. So we will use that like a compass to then say, okay, nutrients, here is what we're taking care of the nutrients, one of the 5 things that plants need. And also the water, which is another way of saying drainage, or air. That's another way of saying drainage. Soil has air in it. So we will custom tailor things with that as the compass, the 5 things that the plants need. So yes, we deep dive into that in the course. Look to Nature says, everyone, if you did not see it above or on Discord, join is Record Tomato 26. We'll be growing the Delicious strain, which in 1986 was grown to 7 pounds, 12 ounces. I think a Viking can surpass this. I'm sure that we could. We meaning anyone in the tribe, properly. But there has to be some there has to be a clear line. Is this synthetic or organic? Because sure, you can synthetically pump it full of maximum amount of water. We could make the heaviest one. Or is it organic? Because organics will just never be able to equal size and weight of non-organics. It just, because it forces the plant to do something in a way that is, just stuffing it full of stuff. It's like steroids, basically. Sam says, Nate, is the community for the cleanse page going to be up after the new year? It's actually up now. I just haven't sent out the mass email yet to all the cleanse guys. So it's the same login portal. So the login portal is students.vikingcourses.com. You can go there now. And then you sign in, and then that's for all the Viking Tribe stuff. All the courses we'll have in the future, because this is a long game. This isn't just like a one-off. We're creating a course ecosystem. And so an educational ecosystem. So there's going to be lots of different courses, in the future. So the Viking Tribe is the one spot where the whole community will land. But then based upon whatever course or courses you have purchased, you will have access to those channels on the side. So you can post and view in those channels. For example, if you only got the Viking Cleanse course, when you sign into the portal, students.vikingcourses.com, then you will only see the cleanse channels, But if you've got both cleanse and growing system, you'll see all of those, So I just posted a video so go ahead and log in there, because I know you're part of it. Log in to the cleanse thing, and you can watch the video I just posted a little bit ago on how to use it. It's simple. Everything is simple, easy, to the point. I'm not wasting time trying to make videos longer so I can put more ads on them, like you have to do in YouTube. We can just get right to the point. Melanie McManus. It's getting harder to stay here, not really feeling the community. Are you talking about this here, us? Because I'm definitely feeling it. Or are you talking about something else? You must be talking about something else. Yes, Millhouse. That's what it is. Daily light integral. Yes, the amount of light that it receives in the given time frame. Ooh, St. Max says, I go to cryotherapy for 3 to 5 times a week. For 3 minutes, 5 times a week, and stay at negative 150 degrees. Actually feels great. Yes. So I've never tried cryotherapy, just because the ice bath has got everything that I need for it. But yeah, when you're in air, it's totally different. So the negative 150 is just a very different experience than water because of its density, of course. But that's awesome. What kind of benefits and things do you experience? What kind of 3 minutes, 5 times a week? That's good. That's wonderful practice. Totally adequate. Melanie says, I've been here a while. It's turning. Well, guess what, Melanie? If you don't like it, then you can go elsewhere. But I think that it feels wonderful here. And what else are we going to talk about? It's the dead middle of winter, and we could just not have the community. We could just not have the live because there's no gardening going on right now. I don't get what your problem is. No, I did not. Thank you. So this is kanji, which is a ferment. It's all about the drink. It's all about the liquid. So it's a fermented drink. They make it a lot in India. It's just carrots and mustard seeds. Okay? So super easy to make, packed full of good nutrients, vitamins, minerals, flavors, all kinds of good stuff. Carrots, okay? Doesn't really matter how much, though, carrots. Just if you're making it for the liquid, of course, which this is, then about a third full is plenty. A quarter full would be enough. We just need the sugars and the nutrients and stuff. So about a third full of chopped up fresh carrots. We peel them because the skins can sort of make things bitter, I found over time. And then a tablespoon of mustard seeds. And we pounded them in the mortar and pestle first to sort of release the flavor. And then it fermented for about a month, and it is packed full of nutrients and microorganisms. It's got the most unbelievable flavor. Unbelievable flavor. When you taste it, I mean, I know I say things taste like butter a lot, but it tastes like drinking liquid butter in many ways. I mean, in a good way, not in an over heavy way, but I mean, there's no fat in it. So it's just the flavor profile. So it's super delicious, and I highly recommend making it with your homegrown carrots. So this is a good example of balance. So if you guys are sort of new to cooking, and we'll talk about these things in the stir fry course and stuff, but if you're newer to cooking or you want to increase your depth of understanding and things, then this is a good way to do it, because when you first make the drink, all right, it's just a 3% brine. That's what we use. So you just fill it with the carrots, the stuff, and pour the 3% brine. And we use a little bit of labs to start it, yeah? And at first, when you sip it, it just tastes like salt water. It's just like, oh my gosh, you just taste salt water. But then once it ferments and becomes soured, even though the salt hasn't gone anywhere, nothing has happened to the salt, your perception of the salt totally changes. It doesn't taste at all salty. Now it tastes just like rich and deep and flavorful and all different kinds of things, you know, mouth feel and stuff. So that is a very, and it's because it's being balanced by the souredness. So it's a really good example. If you guys taste your ferments at first and they're super salty and you're like, ugh, then you taste it a month later and it's delicious. Now, remember, the salt hasn't gone anywhere, but your perception of the salt changes dramatically based upon the balance of all the other flavors. So we'll go deep into that stuff in the courses. Oh, Argo, I see maybe what you guys are talking about. I do agree. The community is in a period of change. If the courses are not for you, then we will lose out. Something to weigh. It's true. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely true, because we've been doing the YouTube thing for long enough now to understand that, okay, this past year was a huge eye-opener for all the effort and energy that you put into a channel and all the content, and your whole life revolves around having to make content once you do it professionally, you know? And so you have to constantly keep making new content, and you're essentially just giving it all away for free. So that once YouTube, the algorithm or whatever, decides that you're not really in favor anymore, now all of a sudden you've given away all your knowledge and secrets and stuff, and there's no money. And now everyone's still expecting all the stuff for free, you know? And so it's kind of like kind of leaves you a little bit sour. So it's like, all right, well, now how can I continue to do this for a living? Because I love educating, I love sharing the passion, the knowledge, all that kind of stuff. How can you continue to do this, but also achieve your goals in life, which are the land and the school eventually? And so, in the homestead, so that we can expand the channel, expand all the knowledge, and not just another 5 tips for tomatoes. Here's more 5 free tips for tomatoes and 5 more free tips, and then have nothing to show for it whatsoever. So can you explain to me how that would seem unreasonable? What's unreasonable about that? So yes, very much so. The community, my focus is going to the private community, people who recognize the value and say, okay, thank you for your time. Now here is a symbolic representation of my time, money. Yes. Now we have the exchange. Okay. Here is a totally different form of knowledge, because that's really all I'm interested in, is people that are seeking out the knowledge and want to improve things and want to optimize their life and their growing system and all that. I don't really care about the people that just want 5 more free tomato tips, and just kind of hobby and just kind of nothing, I want people that are there for it, serious about it. So I'd rather have far less people, but more enthused, more passionate people, more focused on results, that kind of thing. So I don't feel like any of that feels or sounds unreasonable at all. Chris Black, in zone 4-5, when is a good time to start ginger? Please get the seed starting calendar. It's free. So get the seed starting calendar. That will tell you exactly when to start it. Melanie, I thought this was a gardening channel. Lifestyle channel's been dormant for months. Well, guess what, Melanie? You can find another channel, because this isn't your channel. So there's the door. I mean, that's the amazing thing about this platform. If you don't like it, leave. And you can just turn the channel to someone that you do like, instead of expressing how much you've all changed. Maybe you've changed. Yes. So what we've settled on, guys, for ginger storage was this. Absolutely by far the best. And it's not the proper system that somebody suggested, as far as there was like a Korean syrup method, which I lost. I lost that recipe. Someone gave me a recipe or something, or a name of like a Korean type inspired or Japanese way of preserving ginger in just a syrup of some kind. I forgot it or lost it. I would definitely revisit it. But anyways, we essentially pickled this with rice vinegar and sugar. Okay. And so this is absolutely delicious, and it works really well in the stir fries and the ferments. It like enhanced the flavor of the ginger. I mean, it enhanced the flavor of the ginger, and so made it like, when you're using it in something, not only is it pre-sliced, which is wonderful, but it enables you to chop it up fast, and then it's made it more somehow like ginger forward. It must be something with the vinegar. Again, the balances. So it must be something with the vinegar and the sugar that makes it like really stand out. So definitely the way we're going to be doing it. We're not going to be fermenting it like last year, because with just the salt ferment, it sort of killed the flavor. You could even eat some and you didn't really taste the ginger that much. So here you are full on tasting the beauty of the ginger. Yeah. We're not going to worry too much about this Melanie, though. She seems kind of like a little bit of a miserable person. So you can just kind of move on, my friend. Thank you for your time. Hope you got enough free knowledge here. This is really what it's about. Queen RB understands everything is connected in life. Gardening is not compartmental. It's part of eating, living, preserving, etc. Absolutely. And the whole reason that I even grow anything is to thrive in life. It's not the end goal of life in itself to grow your stuff, to grow the food. It's one aspect, and it's one very important aspect of thriving. But there's so many other different aspects to it. Philosophy, mindset really is the most important thing by far. And so, yeah, it extends way beyond just growing plants. Yeah. What's up, Val? Yeah, thank you. Look to nature. Yes, you understand. Viking Standard Time. Whoops. Okay, good. Finally, something constructive. Thank you, guys. Cryo gives me more energy and I feel ready to forgive everyone afterwards. Just feels awesome. That is a very interesting observation. And yes, guys, doing the sauna and ice bath is just looks forward to, I mean, it makes you look forward to the wintertime, like I've said so many times before. Now, again, I haven't tried cryo, but such extreme low temperatures, I'm sure would give, even though it's air as opposed to water, it would still give you a similar experience. We love it. We love the mental focus when you get in there, how it conditions the body. Game time right away. The body's already conditioned. It already knows. Yes. So, all right, guys. Well, let's see if there's anything else to. I know Val says, has it been 3 years or 4 years already? I don't know if it's been 4 years here. Tell me it hasn't been 4 years. It still feels brand new. But it really, what I realized is that the huge growth of the channel was definitely a side effect of COVID for sure. All gardening channels I noticed really sort of blew up then and then have really been, there's just not as much, it's because there's not as much urgency in gardening like there was then. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, when they went to the store and they saw that there was like nothing in the aisles for the first time in their life, and it shook everybody. It was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So they're all looking into gardening, growing food again. But now that everything's opened back up again, you know, and it's all just go to the store and get whatever you want, then now it's all said, nah, we don't really need to grow food like that. Yeah, it's not really that important. So it just kind of falls off. Yes. Weeblers. I just started bathing, and then running back into the sauna tent. Any beginner tips? Definitely, yes. Stay in the ice bath until your breathing becomes under control. That's the most important thing. If you get into the ice bath and then you get out while you're still in panic mode, then you're conditioning the body to respond to panic mode. What you need to do is to get in there and take control of the breath. Take control of the breathing until the body, it will, okay, in the beginning it might take a moment, but it will relax. And it will suddenly, the breathing will slow down, the heart rate will slow down, and you can breathe deep. Once that, and you'll be able to feel it. After you practice for a little bit, you'll condition the body to relax deeply, even in a very, very high stress situation, such as an ice bath. You know, maximum stress on the body is the ice bath. And so, but if you get out before that, then you're not going to be getting that benefit, and you're going to condition the body to run, to panic, basically. So that would be my number one tip. Stay in at least long enough until you get control of the breathing. Then you can get out, and increase those times if you want. Yeah. Yes. Jay Bremer, shrink wrapping chicken. Nice. Back. I thought you started already. But maybe not. So you're going to start it in 2 weeks. Excited and apprehensive. Do not be apprehensive. Don't worry. Just make sure that you watch every video in the course. You will have all the knowledge and stuff that you need for success, and you will have a wonderful cleansing experience. Just stay true to it and trust the process. That's the most important thing. And you'll be amazed at how good and alive you feel, especially day 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You'll be feeling amazing. No, I know. Dusty says, I don't know what the issue is. If you don't like something, leave it go. I know that's how most people would see it. But a lot of people have to have something to be conflict about, have to have their little opinion that makes them, I got to tell somebody how it is. And I got to make it known, make my loud voice known, and so they don't want to just leave. That would be too easy, and that wouldn't satisfy their desire for conflict. That extends to every aspect of a person's life as well. Surely, it extends to every aspect of a person's life. Yeah, and Weeblers, if you're talking about ice bathing and stuff, and you're on some of the groups, like on Facebook, there's one that's called like Ice Bath Curious, something like that. Cold plunge and sauna community, something. I'm a part of those as well. You'll hear a lot of people. I do 20 minutes in the ice bath. What? That totally unnecessary. Don't even worry about that right now. Just get your mental faculties. That's all that matters. 2 minutes is plenty of time for all the benefits that you would need. Anything else is just a mental, like a marathon with yourself. Okay, I see. Beck, you're getting 5 days off in 2 weeks. Yes, definitely. Get all the supplies. Man, St. Max, you are absolutely right about that. I totally agree with your experience regarding YouTube. After a while, you cannot have a normal life. You just think about filming it all. Yeah, definitely. Because a lot of people are like, oh, it'd be so nice to just be able to work whenever you want and stuff, but it's not like that. It's a 24/7. Okay, you release content. Now what's the next content? That's great, but what's the next? What's the next? Constantly got to be coming up with new, fresh ideas and you have to do the little dance for the algorithm. And if you don't, then you don't make any money. And so, wow. So it's just a nonstop hamster wheel, you know? And so I just had to get off the hamster wheel. That's what last year was about. But now we're redoing it with a whole different approach. Okay. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you very much for a wonderful chat today. And if you do shopping on Amazon, definitely do it through the Viking storefront. Okay. We will get the credit for it, which is better than no one but Amazon getting the credit. And also, believe me on this one, this will really help with your seed starting. Unless you have your system totally 100% perfect, you're going to benefit from this because it will show you how high you can keep your lights, how far away, what the spread of the lights is, everything. Even if you have houseplants that are not doing well or you want them to do better, you can find out where in the house is actually getting light. Now, a lot of these don't require much, but they still require more than you might think. So this thing definitely is very helpful. So thank you, Look to Nature. I appreciate you as well, my friend. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you, John. It's a wonderful comment. Glad I got to see it before I left.